Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for a little Q&A action. You guys have been asking for one. I have been saying I'm going to do one for a while, and it's been a while. So I asked you guys on my Instagram stories a couple weeks ago what questions you had for me. I have compiled them, and I'm going to answer them. And before you ask in the comments, if you would like to see this eye look, I did film a makeup and chill with it. This is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. There's also a C-Color Cosmetics dupe of this palette called Around the World. So that will be coming soon. It's in a few more makeup and chills. It's like the 6th one, I think. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. It will come. You'll forget that you enjoyed this eye look, and then you'll run into it again, and it'll be like meeting a long lost friend, and it'll just be wonderful. So hang in there, it'll be coming. Let's dive into this Q&A. I've typed out your questions. I've typed out some of my answers because a lot of you asked me for lists of things, so I did my research first. So let's just jump into this. Jewels of Wisdom asks, places I've traveled in the US, what I'd recommend, and why. These are in no particular order. They are just the order that I thought of them. First one I thought of is Athens, Georgia. It was one of my very first favorite places to go. I went on a road trip there when I was 19, got my first tattoo, my Nirvana tattoo, Chim Chim with explosives on his back. If you missed my tattoo stories video from a while back, I will link that for you guys. But I would say Athens, Georgia. I love that town. It's got this tiny little downtown area. It's totally walkable. I love college towns. I love the college town vibe. Go figure. I live in one now. I just really enjoy it. It's kind of like Charlottesville, Virginia, so I'm just going to plug Virginia real quick. I live in Virginia now. I'm not in Charlottesville, but Charlottesville is what drew me to Virginia in the first place. Yeah, I like college towns, and Athens is just full of very friendly people and lots of good memories for me. R.E.M. is from there, and they're probably the first band I ever tried to follow and find, and let's not call it stalking. Second town on my list, let's say Seattle, Washington, particularly in the fall. Now, a lot of these tie back to musical cues for me, so I was a huge Nirvana fan, and I had a chance, oh gosh, this was like 2008 maybe, to go to a conference in Seattle, and so I went there for work. While I was there, I took a little walking trip. I found Kurt Cobain's house. I found the park where the vigil was held by Courtney Love after he died. And I was dumbfounded that so many years later, there were flowers and notes, and at the park there were still memorials to Kurt Cobain. And I just... it moved me. I was so cheesy. I sat on a bench and listened to Something in the Way and stared at the park. But Seattle was beautiful, amazing. I loved the downtown. I had stayed downtown, also very walkable. I loved the market. I went to the original Starbucks, all the good touristy things, the Space Needle. There was a rock history. There was actually a Nirvana gallery set up at the time. I love Seattle. Seattle's a great city. I actually looked at moving there when I was looking at leaving Chicago, but the cost of living was pretty high, and but see, I like rain. The sun is trying to kill me, so I have no problem. Everyone's like, oh, it rains all the time. Did you know that Seattle only has 11 days per year more than where I lived in Chicago of rain? So yeah, no big. Third on my list, I've got Las Vegas, Nevada. I love Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a city that is larger than life, and it is impossible to worry about anything in your actual real life when you are in this totally bizarrely fake, larger than life craziness. It's just, I love it. It's the best in terms of escapism. I'm also a gamer. I love playing poker. I enjoy craps. Bubble craps is my new thing. You don't have to actually interact with humans, and you can just sit on a machine. Oh, you're combining like all the things I love. So I love gaming. I love the vibe. I love the party atmosphere. I love Vegas. Austin, Texas. on my list. I love the arts vibe there. I love all the history. I love all the creative weirdos and the bats. Philadelphia, South Street. I spent 5 years or so living in Philly after I finished my undergrad and bought my first pair of Doc Martens on South Street. Fond memories of cheesesteaks. I was not vegetarian at the time. And I still to this day have this poster of a kitten making a rawr face, and it's wearing like a black spiked collar, and it's one of my favorite things in the world. It's this black and white poster. I still have it. Bought it on South Street in Philly, and I just love Philly, and the history there is just the history up and down the East Coast in the whole Mid-Atlantic area is just mind-blowing, really. I'm going to say shout out to my hometown, Chicago, Illinois, in the summer, and New Orleans, Louisiana. I do need to get back there. I love the party vibe. I love the ghost stories. I was only there for a few nights when I went to visit. I was seeing a Dave Matthews show in Orange, Alabama? Is that the right town? Orange Beach? Orange? Oh, I have the poster on my wall. Why can't I think of the name of the town? But so I was only in New Orleans for a few days, but we went on this walking ghost tour, and it was fantastic. I love NCIS New Orleans. I know I'm saying New Orleans like a total Chicagoan, but I'm from Chicago, so... But I do need to go back. I need to spend more time in that city because I loved it. So there you have it. Those are off the top of my head the places in the U.S. that I have traveled that I love and would recommend you visit. Next up, Mrs. Wingham 10. Have you always loved makeup, or did you get into it later in life? I've always worn makeup, but I've never been as into it as I am now. When we go back to like high school, college days, I would wear lots of black eyeliner, a ton of mascara, concealer, powder, and a vampy lip. And that was kind of it. I was an eyeliner mascara everyday kind of girl. Really didn't get into eyeshadows much at all. Didn't do liquid foundation. Definitely didn't. I never wore blush. I didn't wear blush until I was in my 30s. Because, okay, there's a story to that. As a kid, I got made fun of all the time because as soon as I exert any physical activity, my cheeks turn red. My whole face turns like beet red like a tomato. Why would I put blush on my face and make me look like the thing that tortured me all those years? My face still gets beet red like a tomato, but at least I have figured out blush a little bit. I only wear a little bit of blush. But, yeah, so I really didn't get into it until probably my mid-30s, and the whole reason I got into makeup again, really, or more than I was my sunspots started showing on my face, and I wanted to cover them up, so I started experimenting with foundation. And when you plaster your face out with foundation, then you need to bring everything back with contour and highlight and blush, so that's kind of how this all happened. I am missing a name, so either this was also from Mrs. Wingham, or I forgot to write down a name. Either way, if I forgot to write your name down, I am sorry. My top 5 favorite foundations and concealers. I have over 200 foundations, and I have probably 40 different concealers here, so it's really hard to narrow it down. I have a lot of favorites. Concealers, not so hard. I came up with my top 5. These are going to be my top 5 right now, because I have so many. I mean, most people don't have this many. My number 1 favorite still yet to be toppled from my favorite spot. We'll see how some of these other ones do in the summertime, if they're able to beat the wear of my beloved Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer. It is my all-time favorite. I love how it just blurs everything under the eyes. It is fantastic. But I have a couple other great ones, and we'll see how they wear this summer. Recent discoveries. The Pat McGrath Sublime Skin Concealer is freaking awesome. Very close to the Charlotte Tilbury. The L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Concealer. Holy cow. For a drugstore concealer on top of it, like, crazy town. I'm really enjoying the new Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. And the shock of last year was pretty much the Marc Jacobs Accomplice Concealer. It's a stick concealer, and who would have thought that with dry under eyes I could wear a stick concealer, but it's beautiful. For foundations, oh gosh, I couldn't make it down to 5. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 or 16 on this list. Sorry, I'll just go through them. Dior Forever Skin Glow, love it. I'm into dewy foundations right now, so most of these are dewy. The new L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant, oh my goodness. By Terry Densalist Anti-Wrinkle Serum Foundation is like skincare. My skin is actually in better condition when I go to bed that night than it was that morning after wearing that foundation. Pure Love Your Selfie, I just picked up a bunch more shades, so I've got 3 shades of that now. Makeup Revolution's Fast Base Stick, I have 6 shades of that so that I can wear it no matter if I'm self-tanning or any time of the year. Makeup Forever Reboot, new love. It is beautiful, and I might start using that as my main most of the year color match. That R230 shade is just really good on me. The new Estee Lauder Futurist, the Hydra Foundation, oh, another really nice one. Don't have an exact match in that, unfortunately. I hope they release more shades. Then the rest of these are like older favorites that I still reach for all the time. The Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. For matte, YSL All Hours and Dior Backstage. I love both of those. I just haven't been wearing a lot of matte lately. The CoverGirl Matte Made, which actually wears like a satin on me. I love the Lancome Renergy Lift. You don't see it a lot in the winter because the shades I have are all my summer and self-tanning shades. Tarte Found Sealer, loving that one. Wore it all last summer, brought it with me to Ireland. Clarins Skin Illusion and Kosas Tinted Face Oil, the two that I love the most for a no makeup kind of a day. Oh, but you know what? The NYX Born to Glow could probably be in there as well. I grab that a lot. I have a lot of favorite foundations, but I have over 200 foundations to choose from. So having like 15, even 20 favorites, that's only 10% of my collection. So yeah, a lot of favorite foundations. Stronger Lynn asks, it's your last meal. What is it? I wish I could be more sophisticated here, but it's probably pizza. I love pizza. All kinds of pizza, like junk food pizza, gourmet pizza, weird pizzas with funny ingredients on them, plain old cheese pizza, frozen pizza, you name it. If it's pizza, I love it. It's just a thing. And also from Stronger Lynn, these 6 songs, you've got 6 songs left before your time is over. What are they? This was freaking hard too, but I'll tell you, I think I narrowed it to 7 songs, and then I made a list of bands that, depending what thing I'm going through at that time in my life, might be on that list. They all make songs that get me through things. So that's kind of how I picked this list. This isn't all the bands that I like, but it's the bands that get me through stuff. We got some stuff going on, you guys. So I've been going through a lot of music lately. So, in no particular order. My life's theme song, and it has been for a good decade or so, Modest Mouse, The World at Large. That is that's just my theme song. That's my life's theme song. So this song, I got to know it through a performance on The Voice from Addison Agin. The song is She Used to Be Me, She Used to Be Mine. I don't know how to pronounce the last name of the original artist. Sarah Bareilles? I'm not sure. I had never heard it, but I've since gone back and downloaded the original, and I enjoy them both. The original is longer than the version that was recorded for The Voice, of course, but love them both. That could almost be a theme song as well. Tori Amos, Hey Jupiter, which is a song that contributed to the naming of my Jeep. My new Jeep is named Jupiter. Green Day, Still Breathing, one of the most creative ways to say that I'm not dead. That is, my head's above the rain and roses. You know? Above the rain and roses. Like, above the ground. I'm not underground. I don't know. That song is my, yeah, when life is, like, overwhelming me, it's kind of a combination of, I thought of a song I should have put on here. It's like a combination of, like, an anthem to kind of pull me up by my bootstraps and get myself going, and also, like, a celebration and a bit of defiance. I'm still here, you can't take me down. Yeah, that song. When Billy Joe came back, Green Day kind of came out with that album, and And I felt like Billy Joe was going through, like he was where I am in my life. And we're about the same age. I love me some Billy Joe Armstrong. He'd be one of those, what do you call that? Like that list of people, like the 5 people that you're allowed to be with if you ever have the opportunity, if you're in a relationship. I don't know. I'm not in a relationship, but Billy Joe would be on that list. The song I thought of that should be on this list, that I did not put on this list, is the song that is the inspiration for my Raise Hell on my wrist. It's by Brandi Carlile. That is also one of my anthems. It gets me through things. And then I've got Dave Matthews Band, number 41, my favorite song by Dave Matthews Band, and Nirvana, Pennyroyal Tea. I've got an honorable mention on here because it just came out literally a couple weeks ago. It's Dave Matthews played it in the free concert he did. It's not the free, like, music he did. It was just him. But the quarantine concert he did with Verizon. Singing from the Window is what I'm going to call it. It didn't have a title. It's about this. It's about what we're going through now. It's amazing. It made me bawl my eyes out when I was watching it for the first time. I've listened to it nonstop since, and it gets me through stuff too. So then I have a list of just bands, and these all have songs that get me through stuff, but they just didn't make it onto this list. So I'll just read you the list. Radiohead, Counting Crows, Tom Petty, Soul Asylum, Pink, Flogging Molly, Social Distortion, R.E.M., Fiona Apple, Bon Jovi, Foo Fighters, 30 Seconds to Mars, Lady Gaga, Annie DeFranco, Billy Joel, The Cure, Faith No More, 9 Inch Nails. There could have been more. I had to stop somewhere. There you have it. Josie Kilgore asks, favorite food? We did cover this. Pizza. Do you like coffee? No, but I like tea. Hobbies. I have so many hobbies. I enjoy sewing. If you follow me on Insta, you've seen lately I've been sewing DIY face masks and sending them out to friends and family. I've made over 200 masks at this point and sent them to people in 11 different states. And the rest I've been donating. Now I'm working on sewing buttonholes into elastic. My friend is part of organizing this whole ring of like 40 plus people that are crafting 3D printed face shields for the local hospital. And so I'm helping to sew holes into the elastic for the straps that go on the back of their heads. So sewing, I don't do it well. I just started sewing because, well, like you're witnessing with this dress. Whenever I wear store-bought clothing, if it fits my bust and my waist, it is too big in my shoulders and my neck because my bust and my waist are larger sized because I'm overweight than my shoulders were intended to be. It's too big for my frame. I have too much fat for my frame, and so I don't fit into standard sizing. So that's why straps always fall down on me. So I decided to start learning to sew my own dresses so I could fit them to me. Then I found wovens were way too hard to sew, and so I started sewing knits, and now I primarily just do that. I have a serger, and I just sew knit dresses, basically just skater dresses. Love them. But yeah, so sewing is one. I love playing poker, part of why I enjoy Las Vegas so much. Online gaming, I've been playing a game called Ultima Online for more than 20 years of my life. If you haven't heard of Ultima Online, if you've heard of World of Warcraft, UO was like the predecessor to EverQuest and World of Warcraft. It's a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, MMORPG. So I do that a lot. I used to have a whole bunch of blogs. I've had a lot of blogs come and go, and blogging isn't a thing anymore. It kind of got replaced with YouTube. So that's a hobby. Animal advocacy. I've been in charge of a nonprofit fundraiser that I used to do twice a year, the Jade Paw Project, where I would spend the whole year collecting cat figurines from thrift shops, and I would spray paint them like not teal, that's blue, jade green, it's actually more like a neon green, and then sell them and then donate all the proceeds to the shelters or the rescues that rescued my cats from the shelters. So that's a thing. Wildlife and environmental conservation education. I'm a volunteer at the Wildlife Center of Virginia, where I'm an outreach education docent, so we do outreach programs. We teach the world to care for and care about wildlife and the environment. I get to be a animal handler, primarily the raptors, the hawks and the owls, but we also handle the snakes and the turtles and our education ambassador animals, and that is just one of the highlights of my entire life. And that is where this which arm is he on? My Quinn tattoo. This is Quinn. He is no longer with us, but he was one of the owls that I worked with at the Wildlife Center. Some people would call him my owl boyfriend. And, yeah, so I do that. Do you call that a hobby? I don't know. I spend a lot of time doing that. That's all I can think of. Woman Boss World asks, would you rather always be 15 minutes late or 25 minutes early? Definitely early. I do not like to draw attention to myself. I am a wallflower. Walking in late draws attention. Yes, getting there early can draw attention as well, but I can get there early and sit in my car and then walk in on time. I like to plan ahead for the unexpected, traffic, whatever. I just like to be early. Sweet D 1983. What is your current favorite highlight? And still, bam! Natasha Denona Superglow. I have a lot of highlights. Nothing has ever come close to the Natasha Denona Superglow. It is the most amazing highlight of life. Bonnie M.I. asks, do you have any home improvement projects planned while you're home? Well, I would love to redo this room. I hate the color of the paint on the walls, but here's the thing. We are in the process of planning to have an addition put on the house. I moved into this house a year ago. We just got approval to add the addition. We're now waiting for the final quote so we can go to the bank and all that good stuff. And that's going to cause things to move around. I won't be in this room anymore. I'll be in a different room. And so I don't want to do much to this room because why bother? I'm probably 6 months from now going to be moving into a different room. So my garage has this 10 by 11-ish room next to where the cars go. And so I cleaned all that out. It had been sort of storage after I moved. You know how you kind of get to the end of the moving process and you have nowhere left to put anything and you just start shoving things wherever they'll fit and then you don't unpack them for months on end? That's what that space became. My goal for that space is for it to be like my crafting area / I would like to have a little workout area out there as well. So when it came time to work from home and all of the stay-at-home stuff started happening, I cleaned out that area, unpacked some stuff so that I could set up my sewing machine and at least get that part of my crafting area ready. So I did do that. I've been watching a lot of Mr. Kate on YouTube. I love her. And she's given me some DIY ideas. I might play around with some of them while I'm home and not going anywhere. So, yeah. Then the Wildlife Center posted, how are you just so great and pure? Thank you guys. I love you. I love you so much. You are my favorite humans on earth. You know, animal people are just... I have hundreds of acquaintances, and part of it is I have a public job where, every year I have at least 120 new people coming in and out of my life that I meet and get to know over their college years. But I have tons of acquaintances, and my inner circle's pretty small. And if you go through my inner circle, a whole lot of my inner circle is animal people. Because for some reason, I don't know, animal people are just my people. It's usually the people that are more comfortable with animals than humans. And that's me. So many of my relationships are distance relationships. All my poker friends, all my gaming friends, all my YouTube friends. I'm very comfortable having relationships through the machines. But when it comes to the everyday life, I'm a total introvert and I have a very small inner circle. And long story short, I love my Wildlife Center people and my Wildlife Center animals, but Thank you, Wildlife Center. Wildlife Center of Virginia. If you ever feel like you got a couple dollars to spare, they can always use it. Nonprofit. You should also just go on their Facebook and follow them because they do awesome stuff even if you're not going to kick them any money. They've got live cams and critter cams and all kinds of stuff. And Wildlife Center for the win. Shannon Elizabeth RN says, how do you get rid of a dry patch on your face? It keeps coming back. First off, RN, thank you for what you do. I'm going to guess that that's registered nurse. If it's something else, then thank you for what you do anyway. Balm. I have a very expensive, pricey one that I can recommend. People say it is overpriced Vaseline. You can go ahead and try Vaseline, but I recommend a balm-style moisturizer. So I have had great luck with the Bobbi Brown Extra Moisturizing Balm. It's like the regular price is like $100 for a jar of it. That's ridiculous, but it's the only thing that has saved me several times in my life when I've had flaking skin or even cracked bleeding skin that has been totally unable to cure it. I really enjoy that one, but even like a Vaseline type of a balm would be good. If you're into indie brands, I've been testing out another balm lately from Bedrock. This is the Bedrock Balm. It's vegan. It is a grapeseed oil, sunflower wax, lavender flower oil, a bunch of seed oils and botanical oils, rosehip seed oil, vitamin E, lots of really calming, soothing things. I've used this on my lips. I have used this under my eyes. It works really, really well. It's a little bit more of a, how do I describe this? The consistency is a little bit more of a sort of paste when you apply it, and it takes the warmth of your skin. You have to really let it melt into the skin with some warmth. So it's not as emollient as something like the Bobbi Brown moisturizing balm, but I'm having just as good of luck with this. So I will link this down below if you're interested in checking out Bedrock and supporting a vegan indie brand. Yeah, this dress is going to drive me crazy. Ooh, it smells good too. So that would be my recommendation. Use a really good balm type moisturizer. Put it on nice and good before you go to bed. Sleep on it. Wash it off in the morning, whatever residue is left. And do that until it's all good. MUA Kate Fitzner asks, what brands of cosmetics do you usually use? That's a really hard one to answer because I have so many. I have a ton of makeup. Like, I have a lot of makeup. All the drawers behind me, and that whole rack is full of clear bins full of makeup. I have a lot of makeup. So I made a list of kind of the first brands that came to my mind that are brands where it's not just like one product that I like. You know, it's not just foundation or it's not just eyeshadow. These are brands that I have a lot of products from, and I've purchased them myself, believe me. I do not get much PR at all. CoverGirl, BH Cosmetics, Pat McGrath, Charlotte Tilbury, Natasha Denona, Urban Decay, Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have a lot of e.l.f. Yeah, I'm looking around to see like what I'm missing. By Terry is a brand I've been getting into, but I don't have a lot of their stuff yet. I've just started branching out from foundation. I guess I have a lot of L'Oreal. I have a lot of Wet n Wild. What else am I missing here? I have a lot of Makeup Revolution, but I don't buy all of their things because their eyeshadows are hit or miss. They're either great or terrible. That's probably... I have a bunch of Too Faced eyeshadow palettes, but that's pretty much all I have. I have all their foundations, but I don't reach for them very much, even though they rank really highly on my list. Yeah, we're going to go with those. Like Lorac, I have all their eyeshadows. Like, I love their eyeshadows. I'm hit or miss on their foundations, and I haven't branched out much beyond that. So, yeah. And the last question I have here is from Kelly Reed 16, asking for a funny dating story. Or a memorable experience I can share. And on that, I'm just going to say, if the first email or text that you receive from a potential love interest is sent to you in the Comic Sans font, run. Run, run like you're being chased by a wild animal. You do not have to lose 6 years of your life. So there you have it. That is the quarantine Q&A. If you enjoy these Q&A style videos, give me a thumbs up down below. Let me know in the comments if you have other questions. It'll probably be a minute before I do another Q&A, but I will take down all of your questions if you leave any in the comments, and I'll save them for next time. As always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup and other stuff with me. Come back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for new videos. I appreciate your time. I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Stay healthy, stay well, stay safe, stay home. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.